to Rasputin. So he
Okay.
finally meets Rasputin. And mind you that the Tsar had at this time the Tsar had bore well, Alexandria bore the Tsar four daughters. The Grand Duchess Olga in 1895, the Grand Duchess Tatiana in 97, the Grand Duchess Maria in 1899, and the Grand Duchess Anastasia in 1901. Before their son Alexei was born in 1904. The young heir was afflicted with Hepatoma B, a hereditary disease that prevents blood from clotting properly. He
Mm.
was a hepathiliac.
Hemophiliac, yeah.
Yeah, hemophiliac. Um,
Not enough
which
diversity in that pool there. That's what that is.
yeah, because that's what Alexandra was afraid of because some of her family had suffered from that same ailment, but
Mm-hmm.
they kept having daughters and none of them had it. And then they had Alexei. They finally had an heir to the throne, and he ends up getting it.
Uh-huh, because, cousin after cousin after cousin after cousin.
Yeah, it's a gene mutation.
Yes, indeed.
Um, and at that time was untreatable and usually leads to death.
Hmm.
So, before Rasputin's arrival, the Tsarina and the Tsar had consulted numerous mystics, shamans, holy fools, and miracle workers. The royal
Mhm.
behavior was not some odd aberration, but a delicate retreat from the secular, social, and economic forces of his time. The act of faith and a vote of confidence in a spiritual past, but they set themselves up for the greatest spiritual advisor and manipulator in Russian history.
Right.
So they finally meet this Rasputin. And it goes a little good for him. Alex, Alexei had one incident where he literally hit himself with a doorknob and started bleeding and wouldn't stop.
What is that? Okay.
Um, yeah, he got hit with a doorknob. Someone's opening the door. I think he or someone was opening the door. They hit him, and he started bleeding. And literally, like a doorknob could have killed this kid.
Yikes.
Um,
Terrible.
yeah, his bleeding grew steadily worse as doctors despaired and priests administered the last sacrament. In desperation, Alexandria called upon Rasputin, to which he replied, God has seen your tears and heard your prayers. Do not grieve. The little one will not die. Do not allow the doctors to bother him too much. The hemorrhage stopped the very next day. The boy recovered. Now, here's what really happened. So the doctors are constantly trying to treat Alexei. Nothing is working. But they come to find out that the
Right.
doctors were giving Alexei aspirin. Now we all know aspirin is a blood
Right.
thinner.
Yeah.
So you already have a hemophiliac that's bleeding, and you're giving them aspirin. The blood is not going to stop. It's not going to collaborate. Collect it.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's not going to clog. So Rasputin was like, "Stop giving the kid aspirin.
Yeah.
Stop giving that kid aspirin." And
Right.
that's what happened. And his blood is able to clot. He was able to recover. Alexandra took this as a sign that Rasputin was a scarlet and that God was with him, and for the rest of her life she would fearfully defend him and turn her wrath against anyone who dared question him.
That was a mistake.
I mean, he gave some decent advice, like stop the pogroms, and
Decent
he's
advice.
yeah.
Decent
Well,
advice.
everyone gives a broken clock is right twice a day.
I mean,
uh, but yeah, yeah, he all right. This guy's a charlatan. Rasputin's a charlatan, but he like I said, I think he believes that he's actually doing the right thing and doing a good thing for this family. He's bringing healing to this family that really doesn't need healing. They need to be.
They need to bring some unrelated people into the family genetic line, is what they need.
Yeah, that's first. Second, he need to be put in the Tower of London and kept there for a long period of time. Oh man! So in during this, because he's doing this, the Tsar and Alexander are really like sticking with this guy. It's like everyone's telling him like, "Yo, this guy's bad news. This guy's going to lead to your ruin," and he just won't hear it because what he's doing for Alexei, what he's doing, he's also being a counselor to both her and Alexandria and the Tsar, and also to his other daughters. Like they're literally like Olga, I believe they found her diaries and she wrote very highly of Rasputin. Like he would listen to them and their issues and give advice when he could. But still, to the other members of the aristocracy, this guy's bad news. We gotta get rid of this guy. So
more than bad.
Rasputin soon becomes his. Rasputin used his position that he had given. The Tsar appointed Rasputin his lampnik, or lamplighter, and charged with keeping the lamps lit before religious icons in the palace, and granted him regular access to the palace and the royal family. In December 1906, Rasputin was close enough to ask a special favor of the Tsar that he permitted to change his surname to Rasputin Novoy, or which translates in Rasputin New. Nicholas granted the request, and the name changed the speedily process, suggesting that he already had the Tsar's favor at the early date. Rasputin used his position to full effect, accepting bribes and sexual favors from admirers and working diligently to expand his influence.
Something tells me some of those admirers may have been part of your family.
Yeah, and the aristocracy as well. Rasputin soon became a controversial figure. He was accused by his enemies of religious heresy and rape, and was suspected of exerting undue political influence over the Tsar. It was even rumored to be having an affair with Tsarina. That part I don't believe is true.
Okay.
I don't believe he was having, but that was popular. That was not popular. That was a rumor being spread around first through other parts of the royal family and the aristocracy that hated Rasputin, and also to everyday Russians at the time, that he was giving it to the Tsarina. I don't think that's true at all. I think he knew better. Like, I bet not. Like, I could screw everyone else's wives, but I bet not screw the Tsar and his daughters, the Tsarina and his daughters, because he'll kill me. He'll take away my power and he'll kill me. So I highly like Rasputin was, even though he was a liberal, he was pretty smart. I think he knew not to eat where he pissed. So, yeah, hey, that's the opposition to Rasputin's influence grew within the church. In 1907, local clergy in his hometown denounced Rasputin as a heretic, and the bishop of Tobolsk launched an inquest into his activities, accusing him of spreading lies, Christus-like doctrine. What is Christus-like doctrine? Oh, they were an underground spiritual Christian sect that split for the Russian Orthodox Church. Okay. In St. Petersburg, Rasputin faced opposition from even more prominent critics, including the new prime minister, Peter Skylyskin, and the Department of Protecting the Public Security and Order, the Tsar's secret police. Having ordered investigation into Rasputin's activities, Skylyskin confronted the Tsar about him, but he did not succeed in reining in Rasputin's influence or exiling him from St. Petersburg. In 1909, Kinslana Berlatskaya.
You're suffering through it, but you're doing good.
Yes, thank you. but who had been one of Rasputin's early supporters in St. Petersburg, accused him of rape. She went to Theophan for aid, and the incident helped convince Theophan that Rasputin was a danger to the monarchy. Rumors multiplied that Rasputin had assaulted female followers and behaved inappropriately on the visits to the imperial family, particularly with the Tsar's teenage daughter, Olga and Tatiana. Rumors reported widely in the press after March 1910.
Okay.
So, yeah, I believe it also. Yeah, I believe it. This guy was a sexual fiend. He believed in sexual anarchy.
Sexual anarchy.
It actually, yes, it actually reminds me of a quote I heard. There was I guess New York and their bureaus are having problems. They're getting calls. The New York police is getting calls about people having loud and animalistic sex that happened over the last like couple of months. Yeah, like what? Yeah, they got a report of there was one report of a couple of people, one dressed as Freddy Krueger, the other one dressed as Pennywise the Clown.
I don't want to hear anymore.
No. You gotta pretty much outside in an alley, getting it on while the theme to the wrestler, the Velveteen Dream, was playing in the background. You got to hear this next one. This was funny. You got to hear this next one. One person called in to 911 operator and like they said that this family, like this, they constantly hear, not this family, but this constantly hear this these loud sex of obese gay man having sex. Yeah, this is the report. Literally said the obese is calling came in and saying that this obese gay man keeps having loud sex with their partner and screaming at the top of his lungs, "I'm gonna cover those cheeks with my man syrup."
No. Nobody said that out loud. Nobody said that. Somebody made
it probably.
It might have been
no. I would never make up something so stupid and clever at the same time.
God.
I'm gonna cover them cheeks with my man syrup.
Weekend weird, everybody. Weekend weird.
Hey, that's the show. We'll see y'all later. No, but yeah, that's Rasputin. He would probably, if he was alive today, he would probably say something like that.
Unfortunately.
So July 12, 1914, a 33-year-old peasant woman named Shania
Get it. Come on.
Guseva attempted to assassinate Rasputin by stabbing him in the stomach outside of his home.
I don't blame her.
Rasputin was seriously wounded, and for a time it was not clear he would survive. After the surgery and some time in the hospital, he recovered. It's also interesting to note that Guseva was a follower of Iodor, a former priest who had supported Rasputin for denouncing his sexual escapades and extravagant. In December of 1911, a radical conservative and anti-Semite, Iodor had been part of a group of establishment figures who attempted to drive a wedge between the royal family and Rasputin in 1911. When this effort failed, Iodor was banished from St. Petersburg. It was ultimately defrocked. Guseva claimed to have acted alone, having read about Rasputin in the newspapers and believed him to be a false prophet, even the Antichrist.
Oh, not the Antichrist.
Yeah, Iodor fled the country before he could be questioned, and Guseva was found to be not responsible for her actions by reason of insanity.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. So, and at the same time, it was the nobles were going, you know what? That's it. We're sick of this guy. This guy won't fucking die. He keeps fucking all of our wives.